Signal, reticulating splines, mimetic filters active. Oh, hello there. Meats, thank you for being a member and welcome. Amber, good to see you again. Thank you for being members always, as well as Origami and Dark Red. Thank you all for being here. Welcome to our Happy Easter office hour stream. We have a little bit of a break today. In fact, I would say we have a long break today. If all else fails, we've got about 2 hours to hang out as far as I can do mathematically. So, happy Easter. Alex, thank you for being a member, and happy Easter to you too. I hope you all are having bountiful chocolate eggs and happy times. Oh, I'm still working on the settings here. Just give me one moment. I'm just putting things together. Let me tweak that for a second. Because I'm in the field, I have to do everything manually, unfortunately. There we go. Just got the ham done. Descendant Gaming, I hope you enjoy your ham. SCP-4521 would rather donate money to the stream than scream. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Thank you for your donation. I don't know why you retracted your message, but I appreciate it either way. If you're doing it because you're mad that I saw you not screaming, well, then I understand your reasons. Silent Follower, good to see you in the chat. Thank you for being a member. All right, let me pull up the SkitNet database for when you ask questions about SCPs that I don't remember because there's too many of them. Is there an Easter SCP? Alex, there are indeed a couple. And one I want you guys to have the information in the future of is you should go on the Foundation approved version of Google, not just regular Google. You won't find SCP documents there. But if you go to the SCP database version of Google and type SCP Holiday Hub, the SCP Holiday Hub has a list of all of the different SCP articles that are holiday themed. And so, of course, there are a bunch of Christmas ones, but there's also April Fool's Day, Arbor Day for some reason, birthday themed SCPs. The Carnival of Venice has an SCP. And then coming down to your question, Easter. There are 3 SCPs listed. SCP-292-DE, which is titled Sweet Easter. SCP-1325, titled Easter Frog. And SCP-4033, titled The Easter Bunny is Dead. Your mileage may vary on how appropriate these are for the holiday, because, you know, we're a horror website, as if our holiday SCPs are going to be friendly. But it's worth a look. Enjoy the SCP Holiday Hub at your leisure. Carson, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. While I drop my phone, make sure to grab yourself a Cadbury cream egg on your way past the commissary. Hey, sad I couldn't catch yesterday's stream. I finally came up with a bonus question for today. What do you think is the scariest SCP? So for me, I have two answers to the scariest SCP. The first is I find 3999 to be horrifying. Being repeatedly tortured for millennia by a reality bender, not a great time. I also find the idea of 2718 to be abjectly horrifying, but only if you are of a high enough rank in the Foundation to get past the Damarung class cognitohazard. So it's not scary unless you can bypass the security protocols, but once you do, oof. Robin, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Happy Easter, and make sure you grab yourself some chocolate bunnies on your way past the commissary. If I was you, I'd look out for social battery depletion. It hits very hard, and sometimes your relatives just can't respect that you can't socialize anymore because that's not how life in a society works. I understand that feeling entirely. And even as an extrovert, who loves going out in public, being among people, chit-chatting, it makes me feel better to do so. I don't get drained that much, but when I am in a low battery state, I find it difficult to do people things. And so one has to find a balance. Everyone has their own balance, and you've got to listen to your body, you've got to listen to your mind, and do what you can to survive. Whether it comes to work or sociality, friends, family, strangers, we've only got one life to live, and so we've got to do our best with it. Desk, welcome to the chat. Good to have you aboard. I hope you're doing okay. Origami, these streams have literally become the only thing I actively look forward. I don't know, so if that's good or not. These really make me happy, so. Well, I would warn you just the slightest bit to not take the entirety of your fulfillment from any parasocial relationship, be it with me or any other creator. That being said, finding inspiration from the life of another, whether it's a family member or a friend or a creator, and using that to inspire you to get out there and socialize and do good work and create things that bring joy to yourself and others, it's not a bad thing. So just like I was saying to Robin, it's all about balance. So I'm glad I'm here for you when you need it, and I hope, as all parents and friends do, that I can help you when needed, and that you don't always need me because you can become self-sufficient. But we all do things at our own pace, so it's okay. Just make sure you're taking care of yourself. I don't know what PSCY stands for to say. I'm going to say pesky. Pesky user, thank you for becoming a level 1 researcher here at Site 42. We appreciate your membership. The desk endures. Oh, trust me, my friend, so do I endure these days. We just discovered that, unfortunately, one moment. See, this is working as long as the lag hangs out. And by lag, I mean by trying to open Discord, it broke my iPad. There's my music. Welcome back. Desk, why did you do this to me? Desk, you bastard. I'm not going to let Desk be the only one who enjoys my suffering here. Don't worry, I'll get to it. It is just that, you know, when you become prominent on social media, people are going to do things that they enjoy for one reason or another, that they find comical and entertaining. And so it is in this moment of my life that I highlight, as Desk said, our dear friend of the channel, Yaslay15, who Desk made a very proper effort to highlight to me, has this as their profile. So, thank you, desk. I did not know I needed to be yassified, and yet Yasley has made that happen, and I do look fabulous, don't get me wrong. Meanwhile, desk made sure I knew about it, because besides bringing down the hammer upon those who break the rules of chat, desk is also on your side to torture me with arcane and eldritch knowledge when needed. What was I even talking about before? I am so distracted now. I guess I will... Oh, Jesus was summoned, and Jesus on. I will get back to the super chats and such, I promise. But give me one moment, a moment of indulgence to speak about the thumbnail and today's holiday wonderfulness. Today is the Christian holiday of Easter. Now, maybe you're not a Christian. Maybe you're an atheist. Maybe you're a Muslim. Maybe you do not follow the teachings of Jesus. Whatever your life path is, we can enjoy the comical nature of people following the one true Jesus Christ, while the SCP Foundation contains 4 iterations of Jesus that are radically different. And so right now, there are polls running on Site42's Twitter and Threads. Blue Sky doesn't do polls, so there's no poll there. But on Twitter and Threads, you can vote for which Jesus you would like to spend Easter with. Because of the 4 Jesuses we have in Containment, honestly, they're all kind of chill to hang out with. SCP-029-J is Uber driver Jesus. Uber driver genius drives a sick angelic ride, a biblically accurate angelic ride, and just drives Uber. It is an Uber driving Jesus. Chill dude. Then you have SCP-3305, Bread Jesus. And Bread Jesus, again, is just a dude made of bread who is Jesus, nailed to the tree, and does Jesus things. Also specifically dislikes Wonder Bread. If you're going to be with Bread Jesus, you have to like more complex breads. Me, I'm a pumpernickel or a sourdough guy. But that being said, third on the list of choose your Jesus is, God help us, Vor Jesus. Vor Jesus is not as scary as it sounds. Vor Jesus randomly appears next to you if you, yes, Carson, I understand that technically Jesus Yums You SCP-5991 is not in containment. But we know what makes it appear. And what makes it appear is so rare that we could consider it mostly contained. Vor Jesus comes to visit you if you eat an entire Bible without condiments. Just plain book and binding, eat a Bible. And the thing is, that's really hard to do in our modern day and age, because the Foundation has made deals with the Vatican and multiple printing presses that you cannot print a version of the Bible unless inside the binding is a modicum of honey, which counts as a condiment. So if you eat that Bible, you don't get to see Vor Jesus. So you would actually have to print your own Bible to do that. And please don't. It's so much paperwork when you do that. I'd rather you didn't. But if you eat a whole Bible without condiments, then Vor Jesus appears, and oh my God, it's creepy. If I remember right, it doesn't have eyes, it wears the thorn of crowns, And it's just all around a weird dude. And then Jesus swallows you whole. Does the whole expanding the mouth like a snake and swallows you. And when that happens, you don't die. You're actually fine because you are transported through the esophagus to a bigger on the inside stomach of Jesus that contains a defunct Jesus Land theme park. In fact, let's start a hashtag campaign to have popular YouTuber Defunct Land cover Jesus Land, the interior of SCP-5991. Defunct Land for Jesus Land, that's our hashtag. So you can go visit all the attractions and the souvenir stores until you get tired of it. And then I don't remember how you get out. You like ring a bell or press a button and you just get coughed up and then you're done. And so yes, that's 5991. It's a problem. But it's not even the last Jesus we have in containment. Just real quick, Jared, I see you asking, where did you buy your jacket? Unfortunately, and I mean, fortunately for me, I didn't buy this. It was a gift. One funny thing is about being a dance teacher as your day job is that as a young adult, you work with a lot of people who are older than you because it is people in their 50s, 60s, 70s who can afford to take time off work and take ballroom dance classes. My hourly rate is not conducive to people my own age. So that being said, I get a lot of gifts and hand-me-downs from my students because they are older, they have life experience, they have extra stuff, and they're just like, hey, Sherm, this jacket doesn't fit me. Do you want it? So all I can tell you is that this jacket is from a company called Golden Bear Sportswear, and it is a wonderful jacket that a student gave me on a whim, and I appreciate it greatly. It's a perfect fit. It looks snazzy. Honestly, it completes the fit. Okay, back to where I was in my story before I get to the donos. The last Jesus we have in containment is SCP-6542, Milk Jesus. And for Milk Jesus, or as we have nicknamed it, Jesus, the situation is that if there aren't enough people in the world drinking milk, then a flood of milk comes from the sacred place and tries to flood the world with milk, Noah's Ark style. And so we had to literally introduce the Got Milk advertising campaign so that more people drank milk, so that Milk Jesus would stop trying to destroy the world. So that happened. So your four choices of Jesus are Uber driver Jesus, bread Jesus, Vor Jesus, or Milk Jesus. Which Jesus are you spending Easter with? If you want to vote and make it count on the SCP Site 42 Twitter and threads, you can vote for which Jesus you'd like to spend Easter with. They're all having kind of like camp counselor group events today, and you can go learn their teachings and their ways if that's what you want to do. So, now, Mr. Snakehead, I'm sorry, none is not an option. You gotta pick one. Silent Follower, you know what? Milk Jesus could give you chalky milk. I believe that it would be very grateful to give you the chalky milk of communion. So yes, if that's the way you want to go, that's the way you want to go. Does Clef count as one? Clef does not count as Jesus. Although Desk is telling me they want to hang out with Dr. Light. Is Dr. Light a Jesus and I just didn't know? I'm unfamiliar with Dr. Light's Jesus ship. So Desk, you're going to have to fill me in on that one. Yeah, Blaze, as long as you're drinking milk, Milk Jesus is chill. I mean, that's the end of that. All right. So, with that, I'm going to go check on the supers. No more delays. Thank you all for your donations. I'm getting to them. Clef, you gotta help me find the Dr. Light is Jesus list, because if I get to add a 5th Jesus, that's just so funny. So since Desk has just informed me that there is in fact a canon where Dr. Light, I'm assuming you mean Dr. Sophia Light, is Jesus, I need to read that. Okay. Silent Follower, thank you for donating again. And I hope your Easter was good. So far, so good. We are persevering. Pesky User, if you want to let me know how to say your name differently, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to keep going with Pesky User. Thank you for your first donation to today's stream besides joining membership. Make sure to grab yourself some of those little tiny chocolate eggs, not the Cadbury ones, the smaller ones, on your way past the commissary. Found this in my peanut butter jar. Oh, well, I appreciate you donating it to the cause. I will clean the peanut butter off it and then put it to good use. Coyote Dog, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a Chicago-style hot dog on your way past the commissary. Hey, Sherman, hypothetically, if a reality bender escaped containment and accidentally found themselves in 049's containment, what do? Not that I escaped containment again or anything. Well, the thing about reality benders is they're very hard to contain in the first place, and we have a 2-pronged policy for reality benders, which is either use a reality anchor if we have the resources, otherwise, because we can't have something that powerful sitting around. This is Dr. Clef's protocol. And so I highly suggest you cooperate like SCP-343 is, because then you can just go back to your cell and chill. Anything else will cause problems. Robin, thank you for donating again. I am agnostic. I do not hold a belief about the divine. I wait for evidence. Joyeux Paques, Dr. Sherman. You know, it'd be funny for any of us at the Foundation who have met so many different deities to adhere to just one of them. So that makes sense. Carson, thank you for donating again. There's one not in containment. It's called Jesus Yums You. It's disturbing. Oh, yes, I did see that earlier. I responded to that. Yes, we consider Jesus Yums You somewhat contained because we have limited its breach potential greatly. Diabolical Boy, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself some sulfur flakes on your way past the commissary. I need a better holder. This keeps dropping when I touch it. Try that. If SCP not deer breaks in your home, what are you doing? SCP not deer? Is this a reference to something I should understand? Maybe a database entry? There's so many of them, it's really hard to keep track of all the numbers. What if I say SCP not deer? Okay, actually yes. SCP-6448, I am plumb not familiar with. So let me take a good look. Containment should be focused on investigation of deer exhibiting anomalous traits around the Appalachian area. So thankfully, I'm not around that zone, so it won't be a problem for me. But let's say for a hypothetical it were. Cryptozoology Division of Site 44 is tasked with ongoing research. Anomalous branch of the deer family. Group members display heightened intelligence and presumed to be sapient. They have abnormalities to their physical bodies that are weird. They show severe divergence from the behavior of other deer. They steal your belongings, weapons, and food. They will rarely attack victims while indoors, so at least if it breaks into my house while I'm there, I'm not in danger. Unless I make myself a danger, which, you know, maybe I will, maybe I won't. These actions should be carried out by anyone inadvertently interacting with 6448 and are necessary for your survival. Please skip to the section with relevant information if your life is under threat. If you notice a deer that seems off, look away and ignore it. If it knows that you've noticed it, it's too late. If you hear your name, whistling, or something else in the woods calling for you, don't acknowledge it. Never acknowledge it exists, don't respond, don't go looking for it, and don't call back to it. If you're walking at night and you feel something breathing on your neck or whispering behind you, the key to your safety is pretending that everything is normal. Your survival is dependent on your ignorance. I wrote the story on the wiki called Ignorance is Bliss, so I agree wholeheartedly. I can't believe SCP made it 11 years without a story named Ignorance is Bliss, by the way. I can't believe I was the one to write that story. Crazy. Someone must have done that earlier, but they didn't. So yes, to answer your question very simply, I won't look. I have dealt with many of these kind of anomalies, and if you just ignore them and they go away, that's great. In fact, one of my most popular videos on the Site-42 Red Division is just ignore it till security gets here. Just ignore it until security gets here. You all know that one. CT is a weirdo. Thank you for becoming a level 1 researcher here at Site-42. We appreciate your membership. Director Ethan, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself, I guess, some chicken pot pie at the commissary. Is chicken pot pie made with crust or no crust? I guess it depends on your definition of crust. I mean, all pie has a crust. It's called a pie crust. And so you're not talking about the outer rim, because the outer rim can be small but still be there. If you make a chicken pot pie without the bread, then it's just a stew. It is the pie crust that makes it a pie, I would imagine. Classic, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a pickle, specifically a Vlasic brand, on your way past the commissary. Help, I ate the sun and now I see different versions of myself. Oh no, you have fractured your reality, my friend. I think you need to clear your mind. You need to imagine yourself as one unit. You need to ignore all of the surrounding yous, and maybe you can pull yourself together. Director Ethan, thank you for donating again. Sherman, the pineapples are taking over. Well, at least it's not the melons this time. Drowsy, thank you for your first donation to the stream today, and thank you for visiting again. Hi, old man. Rude. SCPs I can dump my ex-boyfriend in. I think most people would say 3008, because that's the one most people are familiar with. But I suggest SCP-3001, because if you dump your ex-boyfriend in SCP-3001, not only are they lost in a dimension they can't get out of, but they're also being infinitely dissolved by acid. So, bonus points. That one weirdo, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself some Twinkie Wiener sandwiches on your way past the commissary. What if SCP-069 saw itself? SCP-069, isn't that the Sisters of Cheyenne Point? No, okay. SCP-069 is a presumed humanoid entity of variable appearance and gender. Through an unknown ability, whenever 069 is left alone with a recently deceased human body, the body will disappear and 069 will take on the appearance, mannerisms, and knowledge of the recently dead individual. So 069 impersonates a dead body that's near it. Therefore, if there is no dead body near it, there's nothing to impersonate, so it kind of just waits in stasis. Pardon. Coffee time. Oop, don't want to spray. Pop up. Director Ethan, thank you for donating again. Happy Easter, by the way. Happy Easter to you too. Make sure to choose your Jesus. Director Ethan, thank you for donating again. What if there was a pineapple Jesus? Well, if there was a pineapple Jesus, we would just stash it in the JesI wing along with the other JesI. The more the merrier, I guess. Director Ethan, thank you for donating again. Thank you for so many donations in a row. I hid an egg in the tree. Well, if an Easter egg makes the tree scream, then I will give you a bonus. But if not, then I will curse under my breath and get back to work. Sean, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, and very generous, going up to $20. Make sure to grab yourself a avocado toast on your way past the commissary. Right before you said the Got Milk campaign, that's exactly what I was thinking of. And I'm like, can you describe Uber Jesus once more? And if I choose Jesus, do I have to drink milk? I'm cool with eating cheese. So let's cover our bases here. Number one, I'm glad you have your head in the right way for the Got Milk campaign. That's how we Foundation people roll. We have great ideas for containment. Second, Uber driver Jesus. There's not much to explain. 029-J, just Jesus is an Uber driver. And it runs around in a biblically accurate angel car that changes depending on perspective. And it drives Uber for some reason. It's just a chill guy, I guess. And finally, if you choose Jesus, eating cheese is legal. You don't have to drink milk. You can eat cheese and it still counts. So I think you're good to go there. No one listening, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself some Squid Ink burgers on your way past the commissary. I'm a Vor Jesus adult, just like there are Disney adults. I'm a Vor Jesus adult. You ever get the feeling that you just heard a combination of words no one has ever said on this earth? And then it was just uttered in front of you so casually? I'm a Vor Jesus adult. I'm happy for you. I'm glad you found your way. Director Ethan, thank you for donating again. I want you to draw, since you asked for a drawing suggestion, a meeting of the JesI. I want a round table, dogs playing poker, but it's the different JesI. Have fun. CT is a weirdo. Thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as becoming a member, if that's the order of events today. Make sure to grab yourself a cruller on your way past the commissary. Number one, I hope you're having a good day. I am having a good day. Number two, take this and get yourself a king-size candy bar of your choice. Oh man. All right, Dr. Sherman, top candy bar tier list. Here we go. Snickers, great for if you're hungry, but not great if you just want a snack. They're a wonderful candy bar. I'm gonna go B tier. Twix, you get 2 of them and it's caramel, which is a win. So A tier. And then the Milky Way, the best of Twix and Snickers. S tier candy bar, all the way. Crunch bar, give yourself some crackles. That's nice. We'll go in the B. We'll go in the C tier because we hate Nestle. We like the Crunch bar, but Nestle is a terrible company. So C tier. That is our candy bar tier list. You are amazing. Good luck to Site 2. Thank you, CT, for your contribution and moral support. Soul Hunter, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure you're to grab yourself some assorted candy on your way past the commissary. May I have the claw machine that steals souls, $14.59. You could run a test with it, but we're not going to give it to you. It needs to stay contained. So, request denied. Chat, I just want you to know, we have almost surpassed likes to viewers. So hit that like button and let's have more likes than we have viewers in this stream, people. I believe in your skills. Both Productions, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a bread bowl on your way past the commissary. What does SCP God think of the different versions of Jesus? I do not know of an interview where 343 has discussed the different JesI. I would be very interested in finding out. Oh, Shinan Megami, thank you for becoming a Site42 patron during this stream. You are a hero for supporting the Site42 cause in that manner. Much appreciated. Sean Torres, thank you for donating again. Oh, I also forgot to thank you for sending security for that dog man. Security arrived just in time. Well, almost. We lost David, but he was an a-hole. Yeah, I've heard stories about David. I'm not sad for the loss, honestly. I'm glad you made it out okay, though. I'm glad that security was there in time. SCP Foundation, codename Syria 14, Site Sphinx. Thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself some falafel on your way past the commissary. Any update on the transfer request I sent over for 50 members to go over for annual training for Site 14 to Site 42? Director Tony. Director Tony, I have that on my desk right now. Obviously, it's Easter holiday, which we don't take the day off. We're still obviously working, but I'm kind of swarmed by Easter-based anomalies right now. But I will take a look at it, and I mean, honestly, transfer training requests are almost always agreed to, so I'll see your team soon. Director Ethan, thank you for donating again. I choose Milk Jesus. Also, yes, the tree screamed. Well, I hope you have fun in Milk Jesus's event. And also, I'm glad your universe's tree screamed, and ours will too soon. 4521 will not evade me for long. I'm certain of it. Certified Funny Man, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself an orange soda on your way past the commissary. You guys should guard the anomalous items division better. I just walked out with SCP-268 and SCP-1344. I think your braggadocious nature will be sorry. I was interrupted by Desk for a moment, who has been looking up Dr. Light as a 5th SCP Jesus, and is offering that 2783 references it, and the Ouroboros cycle. Oh my lord. That's so much reading, my dude. Do you see the bags under my eyes? Do you see how tired I am? I'm gonna have to read the Ouroboros cycle now. I've heard good things. I'm sure it'll be great. I'm just horrified. Okay, where was I? 268. Oh, you got that intel from Clef himself. By the way, if you ever wanted to talk to author Clef, the originator of Dr. Clef, I can't guarantee that, but our buddy Desk here is the #1 Desk cosplayer as deigned so by author Clef himself. Author Clef claims that our buddy Desk here has usurped the title of Clef from Clef himself. So be aware of the honored people that you sit in waiting for here. And be afraid. Be very afraid. So you stole the newsboy cap that makes you unnoticeable. Stereotypical much? And 1344 is what you said. The goggles that exhibit anomalous abilities when you wear them, they pierce your eyeballs, which is bad. Well, you know, have fun while you can, because thievery is not allowed, and you will be dragged back kicking and screaming soon enough. You think we don't have trackers on our anomalies? You don't think we have cameras everywhere? You're not going to be gone for long. Karen, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a can of Diet Coke on your way past the commissary. Sperm Whale Lord and Savior says hi. Do we have a sperm whale god? We have so many JesI, we have so many gods. I haven't heard of sperm whale god. You got my interest, but yeah. Hello to whatever deity you are. Candy Pop, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself some Candy Pop on your way past the commissary. Hey, what do you think 343 thinks of Easter? Well, as far as I know, we haven't asked it, but even though I don't believe that it is in fact a Christian God, I think it's an arrogant reality bender with delusions of grandeur. But I think that because it believes it's the Christian Yahweh, I think it's just a little arrogant guy who's happy to be celebrated. That's just kind of how it rolls. Soul Hunter, thank you for donating again. Can I borrow 1459? I'm running behind on Soul Rebd. Perhaps you meant debt. Maybe. Gotta look through you guys' typos. Your foundation staff, you should be better at typing, honestly. 1459. Is this the... okay. Yeah, the puppy claw game. Well, that would only work if dogs have souls. And we've been studying the human soul recently, especially in SCP-8221. But that brings into question the souls of other creatures, which I'm not exactly sure that they actually have. So if dogs have souls, then you won't have much luck. But who knows? Maybe you'll pull something off. Maybe you'll surprisingly prove dogs have souls, and then all dogs can go to heaven. But that's up in the air right now. Let us know your results when you're done. Pat, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself some chili fries on your way past the commissary. Hey, Dr. Sherman, when y'all contain Jacksonville, Florida, also Jacksonville, Florida, Jesus, obviously. Okay, so there's two halves to that. First of all, the whole state of Florida is in containment. I don't know if you know that. As a Florida native, I helped with the containment procedures because you don't let Florida man leave Florida. It's a danger to everyone. I mean, there are multiple spawn of 682 in every single lake. So, obviously Jacksonville is already contained. And on top of that, is there a Jacksonville Jesus? I haven't heard of this one. Tell me more. CT is a weirdo. Thank you for donating again. Help, I just heard a tree scream. It's scary. Well, that's good news for you, because remember, in real life, not even SCP Foundation lore, all trees scream. It's just on a frequency we can't hear. All trees scream. That is a fact. When you mow your lawn, the grass is screaming in terror. That is a fact of life you cannot deny. We know that through science. The problem with 4521 specifically is it's the only one that doesn't. And doesn't that just freak you out? Doesn't that just make you want to know why? And more importantly, want to make it scream? I thought so. Wanted Beverage, thank you for becoming a mobile task force captain here at Site 42. When you are a member at level 2 or greater, you get access to our early access episodes. Whenever I post something, it's usually a couple weeks out from the release, but you get to see it as soon as I upload it. So thank you for your service. Multiverse Fallout, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a Nuka-Cola Quantum on your way past the commissary. Sorry, quick interruption. Thank you, Desk. Don't let me forget that being a member also allows you to spam the Site 42 custom emojis, which you can't emoji spam the regular stuff. We have a maximum of 4 emojis, but if you have the custom emojis, you're allowed to spam whatever you want. Desk keeps an eye on that very clearly. and has an emotional investment in them, which we all should. Multiverse Fallout. What would happen if my railroad accidentally has gotten SCP-20 blank, the GE-U25B? We ordered U30B's ordered, but somehow 20 underscore was smuggled. You gave me a headache with so many number designations there. What are you talking about? I am so sorry I can't answer your question. That's just so many numbers and designations that I don't know what that statement means. I know a lot about the SCP database, and I've read like 500 to 1,000 SCPs on this channel, and that's only a drop in the bucket of how many anomalies there are. I need more clarification next time. I apologize. Director Ethan, thank you for donating again. Wanted Beverage, thank you for donating as well as becoming a member today. If I was a drink from 294, what would I be? Well, since I don't have any other chat history except for your membership join and this question, I'm going to assume that you would be the best beverage ever created, which was so good that it gives you an existential crisis because you'll never have anything that good again. That's how good you are, my friend. Emily, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. And you specifically asked, is this commissary anomalously full of food? You would imagine at the SCP Foundation, our commissaries are pretty well founded. Our staff isn't really allowed to leave site very often. So, between the staff and the anomalies, they have a lot of cooking to do. They have a lot of cookware, they have a lot of things they can cook. We get ingredients from all over. So, in the case of our commissary here at Site 42, you can basically get anything. You just gotta ask for it. And so you should ask for anything you want at the commissary. Test them out, see what they can do. Well, I wish that I had ciphers, girl. Thank you for your donation. Make sure to grab yourself some fun dip on your way past the commissary. Taking SCP-682 for walkies, don't send the mobile task forces. Do you really deem that a safe idea? I'm not questioning your competency. Maybe you will be fine. But I'm keeping security on watch. No one listening, thank you for donating again. Sorry to interrupt, but have you seen SCP? You know, the one that does the thing? I was testing it and it went missing, and I think it walked away. Oh, I get this. We can't talk about it too clearly because it will manifest something. Slay the Princess style. Damn mimetic entities. So, I did see it, and it was having a nap in the corner next to its containment cell, which means it should be super easy for you to pick it up and put it back where it belongs. And so as long as you believe in yourself and have no doubt in your mind, you'll be fine. Good luck. SCP-4521, thank you for donating again to taunt me. I learned to speak simply to taunt you. Of course you did, you monster. You will scream though. Don't get me wrong. We're coming for you, buddy. Sean, thank you for donating again. Look, we all have quotas. Grammar is a sacrifice. I understand. It's just, you need to know what's going on to respond to it, man. We have a documentary process for a reason. We need to have clear instructions, otherwise we cannot securely contain and protect the things that go bump in the night. So we have to put in the effort to be clear in our instructions. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Drab Minotaur, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a turkey leg on your way past the commissary. Y'all got any cheese? Well, my friend, aren't you lucky that you came here on Easter Sunday, where we're celebrating with the many JesI of the SCP Foundation, specifically SCP-6542, otherwise known as Milk Jesus or Cheesus. Head over to Cheesus's Easter celebration. You can have all the cheese you want, trust me. It'll be ecstatic for you to take some cheese from it. Teb the Christian Wargamer, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself some milk and honey on your way past the commissary. How would you grade the Chaos Gods and Demons as SCPs? Obviously Keter and in need of termination. So those Chaos Gods and Demons are obviously Keter, as you said. Very difficult to contain and very powerful and likely to break the veil of secrecy. We would need to use some extreme measures to successfully contain or even decommission them. That being said, yeah, you asked what object class they would be. Keter for sure. Maybe even a Polyon if we couldn't handle them. Skipping ahead because, oh my gosh, Mean Birch, thank you for your ridiculously generous donation of $50. Make sure to grab yourself, yes, some fajitas on your way past the commissary. You can obviously have fajitas for your very generous donation. The commissary will whip that up right for you. Leuna, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself some cabbage on your way past the commissary. Would you need reality anchors for RN Jesus? Is that a thing? Or is that just a dope pun? I love a good dad joke. RN Jesus is pretty funny. I like that. But is that a real thing? RN Jesus. I've never heard of this. Excuse me? A notional deity who controls RNG in a video game or tabletop game. Oh! Well, I love that for it. So, something like that, the problem is, it would be, if it were a person, a physical being, we could contain it the same way that we do 343 or any of the other JesI. We could just put it in a box and let it stay there and interview it and test on it. The problem becomes if it's has a physical form or not. Because if it doesn't have a physical form, if it's just an ethereal entity, that makes life a lot harder. But I'm going to assume that, I mean, we don't use reality anchors on any of the JesI. I want that pointed out. Uber driver Jesus, milk Jesus, Vor Jesus, bread Jesus. There are no reality anchors in any of their containment. So I'm not thinking it would be super necessary, the same way the other JesI are just fine hanging out. Richard Jones, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself some peanut butter and jelly on your way past the commissary. I just want to hug Peanut. Weird flex, but okay. Head over to 173 Cell. We'll open it up. Just for your donation, we'll have 4D class there to not blink at it. And you should be fine to hug the statue. Just don't linger. The D class can be ornery, and we don't want to risk your ing. Weird Sheeny, good to see you, and thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself some waffles on your way past the commissary. Unsure why, but there's no join button for the channel for me on mobile, so I joined Patreon. Also, Florida Containment explains why Critical hasn't left Tampa. First of all, that is peculiar. Memberships are on. Obviously, people join a whole bunch. I'm wondering if it's an iPhone versus Samsung angle. I'm not sure why, but thank you for joining the Patreon either way. Both ways are well appreciated. And the more you're around the channel as well, even if you're not a member where I can see the emoji here, if you're a patron and you hang out, I'll remember your name after a while. So I'll try and remember that Shinamagami is Weird Sheeny. And since your name is similar, I think that'll stick in my brain plan. Just, if I forget too many times, remind me. I'll do my best. But for your second half, obviously, Charlie is the main reason we have to hold down the Florida containment procedures. As a fellow Tampa native, I follow his career closely to watch out for what he's doing because I know how untrustworthy those tampons are. And by the way, can I just rage for a minute that you can be a New Yorker, you can be a Bostonian, but we're called tampons? Go straight to hell, man. That's rude, is what I've got to say. Richard Jones, thank you for donating again. Let me hug Peanut. He needs love, Sherman. I already gave you your instructions. Obviously, you donated twice in that time, but you know you're on your way. CT is a weirdo. Thank you for donating again. I'm going to go spend time with the SCP Foundation, son, SCP-999. I have a headache from the chaos that goes on in this place. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Honestly, that's a good way to deal with it. Godspeed. Silent Follower, thank you for donating again. Tips for creating OCs not too OP, please. The best way to create an OC who's not too overpowered is to only give them 1 or 2 powers tops, but then make them skilled at being versatile with those powers. So for instance, if you think of Avatar, unless there's more than 1 avatar, having all the bending powers would automatically make you an OC, or a Mary Sue. But a firebender, learning how to shoot lightning, learning how to do other kinds of firebending, that is a creativity with a single power that is very interesting for a character. Especially if they start young and they only know a couple of ways to use their powers, but they get more creative and knowledgeable as they grow. That's a great way to make sure your character can increase their power without going into Mary Sue territory. The hardest part is everyone in life feels like we're at the whims of a terrible fate at all times. If you live in the United States right now, you know what I'm talking about. And the first thing you want to do when you're powerless is imagine yourself powerful. And so we all jump to God mode immediately. Therefore, that's the big kicker, is keep yourself with a limited power set, but make it so that you can get creative with it. And also make sure your character isn't the only one solving problems. Have friends and compatriots and teammates who help. That way you're not just the only one who matters. That's a good starting point for that journey, I think. The Poisoned Garden of Eden, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a hopefully non-poisoned apple at your way past the commissary. Hey, do you want a job with us? We have a great benefits package and pension plan. 03 GOC. No, I'm not going to go work for the GOC. Not even a little bit. I am a Foundation man through and through. Mean Birch. That's your big donation. I hope you enjoyed your fajitas. Dr. Pim Darwin, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. I hope you enjoy some frog legs on your way past the commissary. Xyloria Research Division, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself some croissant on your way past the commissary. Me and my team were researching a TV and it pulled them into it, grew limbs, and tormented me with distorted versions of them. That's an interesting package of anomalous abilities. Normally, sucking people into the TV is one thing, and they get trapped in television episodes that try and kill them. We've all been there. You've been there, I've been there. And then, all beyond that, a TV coming to life to attack you. Normally, it doesn't trap the souls and use them to attack you. That's actually kind of interesting. I would like to see your research documentation on that if and when you survive. So, yeah, let me know how that goes. I would love to hear it. Lance, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a coffee on your way past the commissary. What do you think happened in the incident between SCPs 953, 106, and 682 encountering each other? So, 106 lost a fight to SCP-173. And actually, I've got that backwards. SCP-173 lost the fight because it was dissolved. But it got a moral victory because it traumatized 106. Radical Larry was not so radical after that battle against the Peanut. And so, I imagine that because 173 can't regrow concrete and rebar, that's why it lost against the acid old man. 682 can regrow. Therefore, 682 is going to school 106 even harder. Meanwhile, the Kumiho 953 would not even hang out in that room. As soon as it was out of its cell, it would leave the facility. It wouldn't even fight those two. So that is what I hypothesized would happen. I don't know if that meeting has actually happened in canon, but that's my best guess as to their behavior patterns. Soul Hunter, thank you for donating again. Well, I will go to Marshall Carter and Dark for a copy of 1459. I mean, you'll still have the problem with dogs not having souls, unless they do have souls. You gotta keep me up on what happens with that situation. Wanted Beverage, thank you for donating again. If RN Jesus was an SCP, he would have probability manipulation. Would that require the anchors? So, back to RN Jesus again. Probability manipulation is not as powerful as an anomaly as most people think it is most of the time. People expect probability manipulation to be this get out of jail free card, but if you can keep people in a place where nothing is happening, say a containment cell, then there's nothing to interact to get lucky with. That's the trick there. So once you get them in the box, they're stuck because there's nothing with which probability to manipulate. And yes, you could say, oh, the door magically unlocks. Well, maybe, but how often does that happen? That probability is 1 in a gazillion. So even if you make it happen once in a blue moon, we'll put them back in the box and they'll still be stuck there a while. Leuna, thank you for donating again. I bet RN Jesus would be hated by SCP-2662. Honestly, I beg to differ. I think that RN Jesus would help SCP-2662 because Cthulhu F off is constantly attacked by cultists. I would think that RN Jesus would give it a beneficial buff to having some free time and peace and quiet finally. American Muscle Car Club, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself some axle grease on your way past the commissary. I have the billion ready for SCP-049, just need to transfer the account. I don't know that we can sell you 049. We have much testing to do. I understand we're at a budget shortfall thanks to the overseers, but 049 is kind of a load-bearing anomaly in the Foundation database, one would say, in the database and the fandom. But we do need that mad ducats. Researcher Moon has made things 100 times worse at the Foundation budget shortfall, by the way. Moon up and quit, out of nowhere, no notice. And then Moon took all of its research projects and just set them free. And I don't know if you know how the budget works at the Foundation. We get paid from the overseers based on how many SCPs we're containing. So when you take 25% of our anomalies off-site, that makes things worse. We don't know where Moon went. I'm going to ruin his life when I find him. But just up and nowhere, I resigned, took the anomalies, and fled. Honestly, I hope the GOC finds his ass. Leuna, thank you for donating again. Could the Wanderer's Library have a way out of 3008? So the thing about the Wanderer's Library entrances and exits is they are a combination of ways as well as set entrances. You can just open a portal to the Wanderer's Library if you have the requisite magical knowledge. Besides there being entrances that can be come out in and out of if you are allowed to, that they won't let me into. But that said, I would imagine that there's definitely a way from the Infinite IKEA to the Wanderer's Library, not so much a set door as there is you could open your own portal anyways. Probably there's also a door because there's doors to multiple universes from there. Orange Cloud, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a Kool-Aid on your way past the commissary. New anomaly for you. When I was 3 and 4, there was an Always grocery store in the city I lived in, and I have seen other Always too. But one day, they all turned into Walmart, seemingly overnight. I'm afraid to say that's probably not an anomaly. That's just corporate greed taking over the small businesses and causing them to ruin the city they're in. Walmart is a problem that I wish we could deal with, but it's not anomalous, it's just capitalism. Gavaristic, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Just got kicked down 087. Lol, can someone help me? Well, it's going to be a long walk, but when you get to the top of 087, we'll have some candy corn waiting at the commissary for you. Bearded Expensive, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself some chai on your way past the commissary. Dr. Sherman, based on your latest log, do you think SCP-682 could be contained using the infinite falling trampoline? Dr. Williams, I don't believe it's possible because, as you'll notice from the Dr. Wondertainment's Infinifall trampoline test that we had today, while the person testing it was able to flip up and down, it was also able to manipulate its body weight using cool trampoline skills to get back to the edge. So I believe even with enough time, if it were that uncoordinated, 682 could eventually cannonball its way off the trampoline. Now, whether it ended up on one side of the trampoline or the other, that's a question, but it's just as easy to go back in and come out the other side. So I don't think that's a suitable containment method. The Poison Garden of Eden, thank you for donating again. Hey, is the 049 pestilence the thing that caused you Koopies to freak out and kill everybody in the 5,000 possible future you guys thought you buried? I don't believe that the entity from 5,000 is also the pestilence, even though that's a popular hypothesis. I'm not a proponent that that's the case. I don't know why, it just doesn't sit right with me. I Eat Cement, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, and I guess make sure to enjoy some delicious cement on your way past the commissary. I will never stop eating the cement at your site. Well, I'm sure that the commissary staff make great, delicious cement. I hope you enjoy it. Christian, thank you for your first, thank you for becoming a mobile task force member here at the Foundation. Enjoy your early access to videos as well as spamming the Site42 emojis. Silent Follower, thank you for this generous sticker donation. CT is a weirdo, thank you for donating again. I'll submit myself as an SCP so there's more money. You know what? After the Overseer slashed our budget and Dr. Moon quit, we need all the help we get, so I can appreciate that. Thank you so much. Soul Hunter, thank you for your follow-up donation. Good news, Marshall Carter and Dark got one bad news. The GOC is after me. Mind if I drop it off SCP for storage capabilities? I think we can put it in a box and be fine. So yes, bring it here. We'll lock it down, and we won't let the GOC or Marshall Carter and Dark have it. Good idea. Leuna, thank you for donating again. Walmart is beat by breaking the mirror near TVs. You know, I can't say I condone vandalism of non-anomalous groups, but I'm not saying not that if it works, it doesn't work. I don't know, man. You got to live your life and do what's moral to you. I don't condone corporate vandalism, obviously. I'm so above that as a person. Both Productions, thank you for donating again. What do you think of SCP-1439? Unfamiliar with it by number, so let's check it out. $1439. A set of stickers with one missing. Small sheet of 8 round smiley face stickers. Each sticker is approximately 4 centimeters in diameter and has a name printed above it, which is not part of the sticker itself. The names are Edward, Thomas, Gordon, Henry, Albert, James, Charles, Harvey. The first 3 stickers are light blue, while the others are green, gray, red, purple, and brown, respectively. All 8 have 2 black dots for eyes and a simple black curve for the mouth. The James sticker was initially missing, but appeared again after approximately 3 months. Edward's sticker is currently unaccounted for as it disappeared 9 months after the SCP was originally contained. When one of the stickers is placed on an object or surface, including plants, it will slowly dissolve over a period of 3 to 4 minutes. Human testing subjects have reported a slight tingling sensation when this happens, but no pain. Over the next 8 to 10 minutes, the subject will begin to become anthropomorphic, with the face appearing where the sticker was originally placed. At this point, the subject is considered an instance of 1439-1. After 20 minutes, the face will become more detailed, become capable of blinking and speaking. Most instances so far have spoken in American English, although one was capable of speaking fluent Cantonese. After an hour, a set of arms and legs will begin to grow. So the sticker grows a body and acts hostile when demands are not met. Well, I think this is quite strange and I don't like it. I do not like anomalies that make more anomalies, so not a fan. Desk. If an I were to take the eggs of 3199, humans refuted, and make mayo, you figure we can make budget from that? What would it taste like? Don't they have acid blood? Isn't their spit dissolving? Do we think the interior of the egg would not be harmful to human consumption? I am remembering that correctly, aren't I? You like spicy food? That's your answer to that? Ugh. I mean, I'm a little desperate right now, so we'll try whatever we can, but I'm intensely worried about this plan. Soul Hunter, thank you for becoming a level 1 researcher here at Site 42. Enjoy your membership as well as your emoji spam. American Muscle Car Club, thank you for donating again. What SCP turns you into stone? Desk, do you know of any emojis? Do you know of any SCPs that turn you into stone? Off the top of my head, I can't think of any. Desk is on the hunt, so am I. SCP, what turns you? First Google result, SCP that turns you into a girl. This is a woke community for sure. Google tells you that. All right, 1712-B will turn you into stone. So 1712 will do that. Apparently 271 and 2845 also turn people into stone statues. So there's 3 SCPs that turn you into stone. Good luck either not being turned into stone while testing with them, or turning into stone if that's your bag. I'm not your boss, except for if you work for Site 42, then I am literally your boss. But yeah, be safe. Too easy! Thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself some milk duds on your way past the commissary. Weird Sheeny, thank you for donating again. Has anyone checked to see if Cement Guy is an anomaly? Also, just calling me Sheeny is fine. If that's easier, no worries either way, though. I will log that in my musty, dusty brain and see if it sticks, Sheeny. Also, my bad, you're wired Sheeny, not weird Sheeny. But just Sheeny. I got it. I got it. Drab Minotaur, thank you for becoming a mobile task force captain here at Site 42. We appreciate your membership. Enjoy your early access to videos, as well as your emoji spam. Silent Follower, thank you for donating again. And the Poison Garden of Eden, thank you for becoming a Mobile Task Force Captain. Enjoy your early access and your emoji spam. And Hot Diggity Dog, here we are. Opinion on SCP-939. Well, Bill, 939 is a bunch of jerks, and they're not good doggos, and they murder people, which is bad. Worse so, they're anomalous. Being anomalous is worse than killing people, in my eyes. Origami, thank you for being a member as always. If they did that, they couldn't test it. Exactly! We don't destroy anomalies because we can't test them anymore. And our highest priority is containment and research. Destroying anomalies is not our deal. If you want that, go to the Global Occult Coalition. Dark Red, do you ever get good sleep? I was just talking about desk to this. I do horrifically poorly if I get less than a good night's sleep. I am not the kind of person who can stay up for multiple nights. I get loopy really fast. Biologically, I just cannot handle not sleeping. And so even when I do my best to get good sleep, sometimes it doesn't work out. And ever since the recent time change of daylight savings, it's gotten brighter in the mornings. It's been waking me up and it's been making me so tired. So I'm used to getting good sleep and I try to get good sleep, but for a couple of weeks now, it's been a problem. Little Low One, thank you for subscribing to Site 42, as well as TDSF321. Welcome to Site 42 staff. CT is a weirdo, thank you for donating again. Please grab yourself a snack. It's 7:33 p.m. where you are. Well, that would mean you are on the east coast of the United States. I'm on the west coast. It's only 4:35 here. But I had a big meal before I came to meet you guys. I finished my morning's tests, and I grabbed some lunch before coming to hang out with you. So I'm doing good right now. Jacob, thank you for what I think is your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself some Jolly Bees on your way past the commissary. Question, what is your opinion on humanoid anomalies applying to become medical staff? Also, you're under the ISD watch list. Well, if I'm on a watch list, it's not going to bother me because I am the tip top of SCP researchers. I am clean as a whistle. That being said, humanoid anomalies, if they prove loyal to the Foundation, being bumped up to staff is not impossible. It's just a very high bar to reach because we can't let just anyone out of containment. We have to trust you. So, be exceptionally cautious if you're interviewing any anomalies to let them join staff, because the first thing they'll do with privileges is try to escape, and we don't want that to happen. Clone 378, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself some death sticks on your way past the commissary. Just caught the stream on the way back from visiting the USS Lexington. Hope you're having a good day and a good stream so far, Dr. Sherman. I am having a good day so far. I hope you enjoyed your visit to the Lexington, and make sure to enjoy your Easter with whichever SCP Jesus you choose to. Ebobuus, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself some chicken wings on your way past the commissary. So you're telling me that if I submit myself as an anomaly for budget reasons, I can sit in a box all day without having to do anything? Where do I sign up? Now listen. You have to be anomalous, because if you submit yourself as an anomaly and you're faking it, they're going to incinerate you. They'll just throw you in the incinerator, be done with you. So don't do this wrongfully. But if you are anomalous and you just want a vacation in a box with 3 square meals a day and rec room privileges, I'm here for it. We need all the help we can get right now. Where does the O5's money come from? So for the government, you expect things to be paid through taxes. For a non-governmental organization like the Foundation, we have to be sneaky. And so a lot of our funding comes from patents on anomalous things that we have been able to reverse engineer for. You know, like the Men in Black, they were able to take Velcro from aliens and sell that. For us, there are multiple objects that we've been able to reverse engineer non-anomalous versions of to profit from in the public marketplace. On top of which, we have some old money donors from the upper echelons of different countries, royalty and aristocracy. Aristocracy is the word, that they donate because maybe their family member got offed by an anomaly and they want revenge, that kind of thing. So we have donors and underground profit margins. That's how the overseers get their money and disseminate it to the lower sites. Silent Follower, thank you for donating again. Petitioning for official nap breaks for Sherman. Sleep matters. I do agree on naps. I do love a good siesta. Back in my early years at the Foundation, my dorm was just 100 yards from my office. And so for lunch breaks, I used to go back to my dorm and sleep there. And even if I had a long enough break that day, because sometimes, depending on your testing schedule, you can end up with maybe a 30-minute break, or you can end up with a 2-hour break in your day. And if I had a 2-hour break, I would either go eat lunch and then take an hour nap before returning to work, or I would go change into my swimsuit, swim laps at the pool, shower off, and then return to work. Good stuff. You just gotta manage your break times right. But yeah, siestas are great. I would love that to happen more often. Shout out to Donald, who just became a patron over at the Site 42 Patreon. That's what heroes do. We appreciate you, especially Charles and Synth and Desk, and Atwal and Nagiros, thank you as well. And Onimask also thanks you. Origami 049 spam, love to see it. Oop, don't hide the chat, that's a problem. I can't answer questions that I can't see. Sarah, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself some swizzle sticks on your way past the commissary. Good day, Dr. Sherman. New Sigma 9 operator here. Curious question. Have there been any ops where we had to deploy alone without other task forces? So hopefully every task force is capable of working on its own. You shouldn't need multiple mobile task forces for any operation. We should be able to send one team and get the job done. It's actually more rare if we have to converge multiple teams on an operation. So hopefully we don't have to do that anytime soon. Come on. Jacob, thank you for donating again. Question, is the Office of the Administrator... That's not a question. Is the Office of the Administrator... You didn't ask a full question, I'm sorry. Question 2, do site directors have access to ISD or IA documents? No, we are not supposed to look at those departments because we are outside of them. We are given what we need, but obviously if you can have an internal affairs investigation into you, they don't want you being able to see their documents on the other side. American Muscle Car Club, you are the one who joined the Patreon. In that case, thank you very much. And thank you for donating to tell me real quick. That made sure that I saw it. Enjoy the early access on the Patreon, as well as the behind-the-scenes notes of what we've got going on. Shark Boy, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to have yourself some unagi on your way past the commissary. Is the UK an SCP? Not to my knowledge. The United Kingdom contains a lot of anomalies, but it is not in and of itself an anomaly. Birdie, I see that I missed your donation, but now I see it. Thank you for your first donation of today's stream, and make sure to grab yourself some Whoppers on your way past the commissary. Would you consider Vash the Stampede an SCP? So when it comes to fandoms that are not in the SCP universe, the phrase we use is, it's an anomaly, but it's not an SCP. Because we don't want to claim credit for things that aren't ours due to the Creative Commons issue. So, Vash the Stampede is definitely anomalous. That technology in there, definitely not normal. But not technically an SCP because it's not on the SCP database. Jacob, thank you for donating again. To my last question, I meant to ask, is the Office of the Administrator real? Also, ever thought about playing SCP Secret Lab? So, to finish your question, the Administrator's Office is very real. There are many contradictory reports of who and what the Administrator is. So, I can't give you a lot of intel that. You got to look into that on the SkipNet database and choose what information makes the most sense to you. But at least we know it does exist. And then for playing Secret Lab, I have played it once on stream. I joined one of their community events a while ago. If you go back in the streams, you'll see Dr. Sherman learns how to play Secret Lab at least a month or two ago. The problem is that their community events are on weekends. And now that I'm back to doing my day job on the weekends, I don't get to join their community events as much. But I had a fun time that day. Go enjoy the stream. You can see the chaos of me trying to learn the game in the middle of everything that goes on in that game. Wyvern Rock, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a glass of mead on your way past the commissary. New to SCP, do you have any interesting recommendations for SCPs to research? A quick way to do this is to look on this channel. And there's a The Sherm's Great Skip Dictations playlist, master playlist. And that is just a list of SCPs that I found interesting enough to record for the channel. I would not record something for the channel if I didn't find it at least a little interesting. And if you run down that list, you're going to find so many different kinds of anomalies. Beyond that, going through the memes and Reddits of different communities and Discord servers, you will find the more popular SCPs talked about often. And I would get into those ones and read them, if only because it's good to be able to keep up with conversations about things. Gavaristic, thank you for donating again. Panting, just got back up. Where is the candy corn? In the commissary, I told you. Head to the commissary, they got it waiting for you. The Poison Garden of Eden, thank you for donating again. Hey, who's Dr. Clef? Oh boy. Dr. Clef is a legend here at the Foundation. Has a lot of deep lore that Desk could happily tell you a bunch about. Desk, perhaps you should do a Clef lore discussion stream sometime. Doesn't have to be today, I know it's been a long day, but in the future, it would be a fun thing for people to chase down. Dr. Sherman, a $1 bill is trying to eat me. Please help. What's so small? I mean, it's probably just going to nibble at you. Probably not that dangerous. Who is the funniest SCP? So, I would default to the -J list. Usually those are the funniest. My favorites on the -J list are 008-J, Jeff, SCP Spooky-J, and SCP-4357, the Cooperative Demon. Those are among my favorites of the joke SCPs. When it comes to funny SCPs that aren't jokes, I enjoy 3579, Instagator. Instagator is pretty funny for a non-joke SCP. Sheeny, thank you for a very generous donation. Much appreciated. Is Ohio under the same lockdown as Florida? It's pretty anomalous, not to mention I recently saw a body cam where a guy in Columbus in a cheetah print onesie getting arrested after breaking into a pet store and leaving with gerbils in his pants. I have gerbils in my pants, gerbils in my pants, gerbils in my pants, gerbils in my pants. That's some Doofenshmirtz business right there. So, Ohio is a different but similar case to Florida. So Florida, we keep it contained because everything in there tries to get out, and it's weird and crazy. Ohio we contain because everything in there is weird, but thankfully it just stays there. And then remember, Massachusetts just doesn't exist. It is not a state. There's nothing there, but it mimetically makes you think there's things there. So those are the 3 states that I know of that are anomalously contained in some way. Florida man's business, Ohio's weirdness, and Massachusetts doesn't exist. Jacob, thank you for donating again. A Class D got a hold of pink candy from SCP-330. Oh, thank you, Desk, for pulling this up very quickly for me. You're right on the ball. Small, round, stainless steel bowl full of various variable amounts of individually wrapped pieces of candy. 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 But take no more than 2, please. When 2 or more pieces are removed, the offender instantly has both hands severed at the wrists. Well, it doesn't seem like eating the candy does anything, despite the color. So I guess as long as it didn't take 3 or more pieces, I guess it's fine. I wonder why it's so, the D class is so, running away from the candy bowl. If it doesn't take more than 2 pieces, then it's fine. Peculiar. Where is Mayor Lovecraft when we need him? Amber, we don't need Mayor Lovecraft for anything. That weird bastard doing horrible things and making containment more difficult than it needs to be. Unfortunately, my campaign to unseat him as mayor did not work. What do you think of Dr. Bob? So, Dr. Bob is, I think, the least offensive of the SCP content farms. It's one of those situations where, for the Rubber, for Dr. Bob, for Detective Void, I find it weird that there's no artistic personality involved. There's no community outreach. They just make their stuff and kind of hide behind the wall, I guess if you're super shy. But we know that Detective Void and the Rubber were like teams pumping out cheap content. Dr. Bob, I know literally nothing about, so I almost have no opinion. SCP Explained, at least I know where they come from with the infographic show, and I know Hunter, their voice actor, who's a cool dude. But it's weird that Dr. Bob I know nothing about. Also, I don't know if you saw my previous stream where we discovered that a foreign language dub channel of Dr. Bob stole a video from SCP Explained. And so I'm still puzzling over if SCP Explained and Dr. Bob are behind the scenes linked, or if Dr. Bob was stealing from SCP Explained, or if that Dr. Bob channel was a ripoff that was stealing Dr. Bob videos and SCP Explained videos. So I don't know what was going on there. It's still weird, and I want to know more. Sherman, why are you in a gym? Please tell me it's in the SCP facility. No, I am doing a stakeout right now. I am currently... Oh, wait, Desk is giving me some secret intel that I didn't know before. Long story short, I'm on a stakeout right now. There's a person of interest down the street, and I'm keeping an eye on for when they move. Let me, real quick, what is Desk saying here? Shout out to Hunter. He has went back via fandom's behalf to get things changed for us. Yeah, Hunter's a cool dude. It was very nice meeting him in person when I traveled to LA that one time. And the VA of Dr. Bob and Void started working on projects that was a ripoff of SCP Explained. It only lasted a few months. Who is... Desk, you know who the VA is? I'm interested in, like, seeing who that is and what's going on and hearing some behind the scenes knowledge, because Dr. Bob is like a wall of mystery compared to, like, you know, knowing Hunter. You just recognize the voices, okay. Weird. When it came to, like, figuring out who Detective Void and the Rubber were, they both had LinkedIn job postings that got us to understand the company behind the scenes. Haven't been able to find the same for Dr. Bob. It's weird. America Rival, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab some corn dogs as you pass the commissary. SCP-1128 is the scariest water SCP. Absence of shark, definitely something to worry about. Don't like sharks in the water, don't like them when they're invisible. And be afraid of that as long as the shark punching center is around, because if they show up, you're safe then. Sheeny, thank you for donating again. Also, Gerbil Guy's government name is Matthew Pancake. I wish that was a joke, but I've seen the court documents. Probably for the best we don't let him out. Yeah, that sounds like it's a good thing there's a lockup for that situation. Jacob, thank you for donating again. Found this SCP keycard on the sidewalk. It's labeled level 5 access. No, it's not yours now. Give that back to the lost and found this instant. Do not do crimes with a found keycard. Gabaristic, thank you for donating again. Munching on candy corn. Good on ya. How many cat SCPs exist? I wonder if there's a feline tag. Let's find out. Go down to the tags. Animal. Oh, if it's, feline. Feline tag. On the first SCP I picked. How lucky is that? Oh, Jesus. There are 95 anomalies tagged with the word feline. 95 tagged feline anomalies. That's crazy. Oh, Desk. I see what you mean. Yes, be gay, do crimes, steal key cards. That's very funny when you don't run a Foundation site where you have to keep things in line. If there's a containment breach, maybe you can steal a key card to save yourself from a bad situation. Sherm, what is your day schedule like? Like, how much free time do you get on average week? So, my average day, I wake up, now let's have two versions of this. If I were without a broken ankle, that I were allowed to walk and do my normal routine, then you wake up in the morning, bright and early, you go to the gym, you do your Foundation Fitness Initiative mandated exercise. That way you are sure to be strong enough and fast enough to escape any containment breaches. That takes about an hour or two. You shower off, you have breakfast, you get to work, you do a couple of tests, you go to lunch, you do a couple of more tests and do paperwork at the end of the day. And then your free time is usually about 5 hours in the afternoon, evening, where you read books, play video games, sing karaoke at the commissary after hours, any sort of activity you feel like doing in your free moments before you go back to bed and do it all the next day. Days off aren't really a thing at the Foundation because, I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to go out among the public and reveal the Foundation exists? No. So most of your days are on site. You can go on vacation, but you've got to be really careful because one slip of the tongue, oh man, this is just like that time 682 breached. What are you talking about? Oh no. So we get to go on vacation very rarely, but the day schedule can get pretty good if you can organize your time right. Once this here. American Muscle Car Club, thank you for donating again. Has the Foundation ever had a run-in with the Winchester boys? So, I am not familiar with any run-in with the Winchester boys, although I've always thought it would be, just 1 second, let me quickly say, Weston, thank you for becoming an annual member of the Site 42 Patreon. It just popped up in my notifications. Very kind of you to come support us for a year of making SCP content. As I was saying, I don't know of any altercations between the Foundation and the Winchester boys, although I've always thought it would be super fun if there was a ground level anomaly hunters group in the Foundation lore similar to the Hunters Network. It would be a series of stories I would love to write. I find that setting very interesting. I do enjoy the show Supernatural. And then also the Men of Letters are basically a Foundation-like organization in the first place. So we already know what would happen if they dealt with us in a sort of way like that. Jacob, thank you for donating again. By order of O5 command, Dead Man sequence initiated. That's not a good thing. I hope your site's all right. Carson, thank you for donating again. You're going to be leaving, but buy yourself a Left Twix. Left Twix is the superior Twix. So thank you very much. Would Omni-Man be an SCP? Say it with me, everybody. It would be anomalous, but not an SCP because it's not on the SCP database. But yes, Viltrumites, much like Superman and the various XBs, are anomalous humanoids, therefore they are anomalies. If they were on the SCP Wiki database, it would be an SCP. And you know what? It's honestly crazy to me that all this time on the SCP database, someone hasn't found an interesting way to write Superman in the SCP universe. It's such a classic and legendary story, a fundamental piece of literature of our generations and the generations of several generations past. But we don't have an SCP that's a Superman story that I know of. Interesting. How would you write Superman in the SCP universe? I would like to see that. I wonder how that would go. Thalmiel, self-containing. True dat, desk. True dat. Silent follower, thank you for donating again. Wake up early in the morning, step outside, get into my car to go to work, and I scream at the top of my lungs, ah! That sounds about right. Silent follower, thank you for donating for the vibes. Lena, good to see you, and thank you for being a member. Greetings, Dr. Sherman. Are we broadcasting from the cafeteria now, if I may ask, or what is the reason for the different background? So I am on a stakeout right now. I am in a closed gym facility across the street from a person of interest who is having dinner at the Chinese place across the street. My job is to sit here, watch out for when they move, and then inform the people back at base. Meanwhile, if you're at the facility right now at Site 42, there is an Easter celebration going on where you can hang out with either of the 4, possibly 5, SCP Jesuses that we have in Containment. Any of the JesI you want. Milk Jesus, Vor Jesus, Uber Driver Jesus, or Bread Jesus. So if you're over at Site 42 right now, hang out with your favorite Jesus and enjoy the holiday. I, of course, am out doing work because I'm making sure that you guys can have a good, relaxing holiday. Sometimes we do what we can to support you guys on staff. Sheeny, thank you for donating again. Got a dip, but the Sucre tea I ordered should be here tomorrow. Might make a short vid trying it. Wishing you a breach-free Easter. You gotta tag me. I would love to see you trying the Sucre tea. Just touches my heart. Oh my gosh. That is wonderful. Oh, I'm tickled pink right now. Checking the chat, checking the chat. Jacob, thank you for donating again. Warning, identified individual has uploaded lolbit from FNAF into Site 42 database and framework. Have fun with the prankster. Call AIAD and let's get this sorted quickly. We have other fish to fry right now. We don't need to deal with that. Coyote Dog, desk is law. You're damn right. Lena, I'm afraid I would have to ask for moving to Site 42 first since my site is located in Germany. Well, I hope you're having just as valid and fun Easter events at the German branch. I know for a fact that it's our turn to do the JesI convention, but it rotates to different sites. Who knows? Maybe it'll be the German site next year. May RN Jesus bless your stakeout. You're right, Leuna. It would be very nice if we had the blessings of RN Jesus so that this guy doesn't get away from us. I'm going insane. After small incident, I drew Dr. Sherman's face. Well, yeah, Slay 15. I saw what your profile picture did to Sherman's face, so I'm intensely worried about what else you're drawing of it. Origami, someone please help me, I'm going insane. It sounds like you need to take the rest of the day off. Have a visit to 999's wing, take a chill pill, figuratively. The chill pills are actually in short supply, so I just mean hang out with 999. We're not wasting chill pills for now until we can find more. Little man, what is your favorite SCP and most hated? Well, I don't have a most hated, actually. Because of the quality standards on the SCP Wiki with the voting process, I don't often get SCPs that are downright unlikable. A long time ago, there was this SCP that, I like horror content. I like violence. I like messed up things. 8980 is one of my favorite SCPs, and it's horribly forked up. It is content warning bonanza on that one. But I still really enjoy it, despite the fact it made me feel like crap. But this article that forever ago, I don't remember, it was something to do with a bus that took you back to like early communist China, and they would bring women on stage and violently humiliate them in public for some reason. It was just so gratuitous to the point where me, who likes messed up things, was like, man, you are really dealing with some issues in writing this. But I've never been able to find that article again, so I've always assumed it came down off the site. And so my assumption is that if that still existed, it would be my least favorite because it's the only SCP that ever made me go, not only do I not think this belongs on the site, but I actively hate it. That being said, we were about 20 minutes from the end of stream, at which point that guy will be done with his dinner and I'll have to chase him down. And so at the end of stream, I always announce my favorite SCPs, so stay tuned for that. We're getting close to the end of stream. Wyvern Rock, thank you for donating again. Just to check with Superman comment. If an alien has powers on Earth, could that be classified as an SCP? Well, very clearly yes, because aliens in general are SCPs. There is no alien on Earth that the public knows about. Aliens, by definition, are anomalous. So, especially if it had extra powers, super anomalous, instant containment. Good question. It's important to keep track of these categorizations. Wait, so aliens exist? 2 easy Roblox games. Obviously, aliens exist. Everyone at the Foundation knows aliens exist. The weird thing is that we haven't had a specifically Superman alien at the Foundation, despite the fact how prominent they are in other fiction. Hope you're having a good day on the day before me and my mom's shared birthday. Really hope you're having an awesome day. Lunatic, you and your mom have the same birthday? That's a really cool coincidence. I've never heard of that before, but I mean, it's not impossible, I'm sure. Meanwhile, happy almost birthday. I am pretty sure we'll be streaming tomorrow. It'll be a bit later than today because I have an appointment with medical to check on my foot. We're getting some imaging done to see if there's any way to help it heal faster. I really need to get back on my feet for my day job. So it would be nice if I could walk more than 3 minutes a day. So with that in mind, yes, I will stream tomorrow. Make sure you're hitting the bell so you don't miss it. Jacob, thank you for donating again. Question, what happens if the FBI's Unusual Incidents Unit arrests a Foundation agent or person of interest to the Foundation? Also makes 682 the GOC problem. Desk, really quick before I answer Jacob's question. You're saying that Billith's archetype may be a Superman type? Yeah, tell me about archetype later on, / give me an SCP number. I'm interested in finding out. And I'll tell the chat if you have one on hand. But, so yes, so the UIU has active rules from their higher-ups that if the Foundation shows up to a situation they're working on, to back up and let us handle it. Because we at the Foundation have better resources and better training. You think that I'm having trouble at Site 42 with the Overseer slashing my budget and Dr. Moon Moon quitting and taking a quarter of the anomalies with him, making us even more understaffed and underpaid? It is nothing compared to the horrible budget slashing that the UIU goes through. The United States government is so terrible at paying people and taxing their people, which would make it easier for them to support the populace. It is honestly comical. And so, as upset as I am about our budget and the troubles we're going through trying to survive here at Site 42, I do not relish what the UIU goes through constantly. Desk, you're saying it's 2786. You've got my interest. SCP 2786. Billith. Excellent SCP author. An all-around righteous dude. Following documentation has been flagged as compromised by 2786's effects. Due to the nature of the anomaly, this has been deemed safe for reading by the time being. However, content of the article may fluctuate between readings and may or may not be considered accurate at this time. Click below to initiate recalibration sequence. Okay, I know Billith. This probably has a lot of stuff going on, so I'll have to read this in my off time. That way I can get the full story, but I'll keep the tab open just in case. Thank you, Desk. Also, we're not going to give 682 to the GOC because I don't trust them to handle the job properly. At least our attempts to decommission 682, we're at least keeping it held up and contained while trying. The GOC would be too aggressive. They'd probably nuke it. And if it didn't work, it would now be immune to nukes. So we can't have that. We got to be careful with this. Evening, Dr. Sherman. Any opinions on Dr. Wondertainment? Well, Mr. Snakehead, I find anything that makes more anomalies to contain to be very annoying. Although I do prefer the Dr. Wondertainment in the universes where the toys are benign to the Dr. Wondertainment in universes where the toys are uncaringly violent to people. I prefer anomalies that don't murder people. I mean, call me old-fashioned. Site 1, hey Dr. Sherman, how you doing? I'm doing okay. We're getting by on this Easter stakeout. How would the Foundations contain the Terminid Horde from Helldivers 2 as an SCP? So, the problem with the SCP Foundation as a organization in quote-unquote fiction is that the grander in scale you go with the anomaly, the harder it is to justify, quote, containment and secrecy. In a small organization that hides cryptids and magic objects, that makes sense. Even a global super secret organization that hides cryptids and objects makes sense. But when you get to something Warhammer 40k or Helldivers side, where the entire planet is united in the goal to defeat the enemy, the whole secrecy angle becomes kind of difficult to maintain. And so, in the case of Super Earth and the Helldivers, I imagine at the point where there's that many things, the Super Earth government is a kind of foundation that evolved from the Broken Masquerade, everyone finding out about monsters and anomalies, and decided to rally the Earth to a universal defense against the enemies. Because imagine all of that happening in outer space, and humanity doesn't know about it. It doesn't really make sense, you know what I mean? And so there are large space-based anomalies and things that we can hide from the public, but global war stuff doesn't really fit the Foundation setting, I don't think. But who knows, maybe there's an SCP that does something similar to that I don't know about. The Poison Garden of Eden, thank you for donating again. Here's a rumor I heard from on high. You know all those missing trillions. Turns out maybe the UIU isn't all that poorly funded behind the scenes. Also, keep 682 away from us, we could kill it though. You think that there's missing trillions that the UIU is using? I mean, you're not wrong that they're definitely getting paid under the table, that obviously their budgetary needs would not be open to the public. And that means that when people are looking for waste, fraud, and abuse in the government, they're trying to defund the UIU. They're trying to make it even worse for those guys. But I wouldn't suggest they get trillions. I mean, they get money, sure, maybe billions, but trillions, I doubt they've got that much going on. I mean, the non-anomalous Defense Department barely gets $1 trillion. They're looking to up the budget for the Defense Department to $1 trillion. I doubt the anomalous wing is getting much more than that. Jacob, thank you for donating again. And I didn't drop my phone, I promise. Did you know the O5 Commander former Chaos Insurgency members? It's the truth, don't believe what they say. SCP explained video reference. What? The O5 Commander former Chaos Insurgency members? That is ridiculous. And I hope SCP Explained has some pretty good justification to lob such an accusation against the O5. I doubt it, though. $2975, I'm begging at this point, please, Dr. Sherman. What about it? Just yell the numbers 2975? I mean, if that's what you enjoy, 2975. There, I said it. Did that make you feel good? Did you successfully get what you need out of this interaction? I sure hope so. Otherwise, I'm very confused about what's going on here. Looking at the database, it's a demolished house on the outskirts of a city of Redacted, built over a cave system. A group called the Order of the White Sun attempted to use it as a ritual conduit to cause an XK event. It's a historical landmark and a haunted house. There's an after action report. Oh, there's a lot going on here. And it turns into a novel of some sort with werewolves. Interesting. Chat, scroll to the bottom, please. Stop glitching. I didn't drop my pen, you dropped your pen. Everything's fine, nothing is ruined. Elephantian 509, are there any SCPs that react to holidays such as Easter? I highly suggest you go to the SCP Holiday Hub. It has a listing of holidays and SCPs that are related to those holidays. That's exactly what you're looking for. Jacob, thank you for donating again. What if we upload SCP-682 into an offline Gmod server to contain it? Unfortunately, we cannot digitize 682 into a digital realm. We can clone it into that realm, but it doesn't get rid of the original physical manifestation, unfortunately. It has something to do with it being a limb of an eldritch being outside of our universe placed into our realm. So it's not even really here, therefore we can't do that kind of transmogrifying. Origami, your request for an interview with 049 is still pending? Well, I would imagine, once 049 is back from their current mission, that shouldn't be out of line as long as your interview request parameters are approved. Make sure you are very clear and concise in what you want to talk to it about so we can approve or deny based on that. Could you check out SCP-3034? I can peek at it real quick. "3043 is one of my favorites, so I almost thought it was that, but the last two digits are transposed. 3 Foundation personnel to remain on site, 1 employee monitoring radio frequencies. It's a recurring anomalous radio broadcast. Transmission has been observed within 2 kilometers of provisional site 3034. Attempts to triangulate the source have failed. There's an audio file, a bunch of logs. First made aware of the site by a defecting agent of the GRU Division P. Do not let her finish. Tell her all is well. Okay, this is getting creepy. There's an interview, state property, to defect to the Americans. One certainly does not sacrifice little girls to them. If that sacrifice will save millions, not billions. Well, this is a dour situation. It's a little bit long, so we'll have to get into detail of it off-site. But interesting and conflict between the Foundation and the GRU Division P there. Jacob, thank you for donating again. Hear me out. What if the reason we can't terminate 682 is because it's in a sub-reality? Also, why not another 682 to another realm? I mean, that's one of the issues that we are planning with, is that it can't be killed because it's not even fully here. Also, why not another 682 to another realm that's dead? So there are different realities in which we found 682 dead. That is what I like to call the Worf effect. The Worf effect is how in Star Trek, The Next Generation, the character Worf is a big tough fighter, which is why every time a bad guy shows up, they throw Worf over the railing and defeat him easily to prove how tough they are. So your very tough character ends up getting Worfed and looking like a weakling because they keep getting beaten up to show how badass the bad guys are. And so 682 getting beaten in Foundation lore is basically a Worf thing. It's like, oh, we got to prove how bad our enemy is. It killed 682. And so other than that, 682 doesn't die very often. Is every SCP number counted on when they were discovered/invented? So, Dr. L, SCPs are classified, I guess, seemingly in the order they're discovered, because when we discover something, we have to assign it a number. So, if it were discovered in the past, it would have had a shorter number. So yes, I believe that's the way we categorize them. Can you show a real picture of an SCP, or is that illegal? Well, I mean, here's a picture of SCP-1712. Or actually, this is someone who was affected by SCP-172 and turned into a statue. So, yeah, there are plenty of pictures on the SCP database if you want to look at those. And by the way, folks, we are in the last 3 minutes of today's stream, so make sure to get your questions in now. Karishima, thank you for subscribing to Site 42. Wanted Beverage. Is Gravity Falls an anomalous site that it is contained? So if the Foundation existed in the Gravity Falls universe, we would obviously be containing that thing. It is a magnet of weirdness. And so it's actually a great location to study anomalies. I see it, but the button isn't pressing. Unfailing Eagle, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself some vermin on your way past the commissary. If Delta Green were a group of interest, they are not, but what if hypothetically they've been operating under the Foundation's nose for years and using the UIU as fall guys for their cover-ups? Well, first of all, I would need to know what Delta Green is. Delta Green was a game that combines Lovecraftian horror and government conspiracies to create a paranoid and dreadful atmosphere. Is that what you're talking about? In that case, it probably would not be far different from the UIU and the Foundation. It would just be another group of interests that we have conflicts with when we both try to claim the same anomaly, and team-ups when it's necessary for more resources to contain something. That's my first thought. Bobbert, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself some clown milk on your way past the commissary. Hey, what class would Battle Beast from Invincible be if you were contained by SCP? I believe a Euclid, most likely. Just based on the fact that in the Veltramite prison, Battle Beast was locked down until it was released. Desk is telling me Keter, and it's possible it would be Keter. I might agree with you. But again, it stayed in its cell. I think what it would end up being is, if it didn't have a challenge, it just stays in its cell. So it's Euclid unless it feels like there's a fight, then it becomes Keter. It's honestly very able-coded now that I think about it. So either Euclid or Keter, either just away. Then I'll just shut up, Mr. I Know Animes that Ness didn't know I knew. Yes, I've seen Invincible. It's a great show. I know some pop culture, thank you. And Jacob, thank you for what will be the last donation I will answer on today's stream. Another question, does the SCP Foundation really care if someone knew about them existing, as long as they're not talking about them existing? Absolutely, we care. You do not know about us. If you do, we will make you forget. We are about secrecy. That is the most paramount thing. Containment, research, secrecy. If they know about us, we will make sure they no longer know about us, one way or another. All right, it's time for me to chase down that guy. Unfailing Eagle, thank you for clarifying, yes, the TTRPG, and thank you for donating again to do so. I now have to go chase down this guy and make sure he doesn't get away. So to end our stream, remember, my favorite SCPs are not the ones I wrote. That would be cheating. Instead, you can read the SCPs I've written on the Sherm's author page on the SCP Wiki. So you can go read all the SCPs I've written or contributed to, as well as join our Patreon or memberships or other Ko-Fi and donation means to help support Site42 and the content me and my team make. Desk just yelled wait in all caps, so I'm waiting for a second notification while I give my spiel. And then nothing happened, so I guess nothing happened. But anyways, you got it, good. So, my favorite SCPs are, in no particular order, SCP-3999, SCP-3043, SCP-008-J, SCP-Spooky-J, SCP-5031, SCP-5175, and SCP-5320, and then a huge content warning for SCP-8980, which is one of the worst heart-hurty SCPs I've ever read in my life. One more time through the list so you can remember it / write it down. 3999, 3043, 008-J, Spooky-J, 5031, 5175, 5320, and a big content warning on SCP-8980. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Easter holiday. Spend time with the JesI of your choice. Make sure to vote on Twitter or Threads for which Jesus you'll be hanging out with today. And with that, as always, I'll see you in the next stream and or video. Be safe, be well, and as always, secure, contain, protect. There's a game on my phone that I sometimes like to play when I'm alone. Go in Google, type it in, click the Extreme Edition, and in moments you'll begin and you'll be thinking this is dope. Ninja ropes, ninja ropes.